Welcome to the hunt.
I'm Greg, and
This is Doug.
together we are Huntcast. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 1 of Huntcast podcast, and you can watch it on YouTube. So today we're going to give you a little bit of background on both of us and kind of give you about what this podcast will be about, as well as some up-and-coming events, products, and a little bit of recent news. So to start, we'll throw it over. Doug is a good friend of mine and customer of our shop, so we decided we were going to try this out. So I'll let Doug give you his background, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay, so I know Greg for a couple years now when he first opened up the shop, and we kind of hit it off right away. Very similar interests, both kind of same kind of backgrounds. So I'm 53 years old. I've been hunting for 40 years now. Been bow hunting most of my life. So grew up in New York and on Long Island, and that's where my bow hunting really started, because we don't really have a gun season in New York on Long Island. It's all bow hunting. So I've been, like I said, bow hunting for 40 years, and that's kind of my passion, and that's kind of what brought us together, really.
Absolutely. So Doug mentioned the shop, I mentioned the shop. So myself and my wife, we own High Tines Archery, and Doug had come in shortly after we opened. And like he said, we just share a lot of the same passions. We hit it off really quick. Our wives hit it off really quick. So it made life pretty easy with making this leap to start the podcast. So with my background, I've been in the industry for, it's going to be 34 years in November. Started in different aspects way back when. But as I got older and kind of got away from the whole rifle hunting, archery became my big passion as well. So aside from the podcast, Doug and I also work together with our habitat and land management company, where we share some clients between Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. And this idea came about, maybe the end of last year?
Yeah.
So
right before the plotting season started, really,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm. So we weren't sure exactly what we were going to do, but we figured it out, and here we are. So you'll get to see a bunch of different things. We're going to do this starting off video-wise, and then at some point we'll start sharing just the audio versions to Spotify and Apple and Google and all that fun stuff. But all of our stuff currently now will be on our YouTube page, which we will link into the description later. But what are we going to talk about on here, Doug?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about everything hunting, everything outdoors, which, is going to be archery, it's going to be food plots, it'll be shed hunting, it'll be just really anything that's, that we share a passion with, and, just outdoor lifestyle, really.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Doug touched on a lot of it. So don't let our logo fool you. We had another logo set up. So we are both very, very big archery related hunters, but arrows looked kind of thin, and bows don't really look good standing at an angle. So we went with rifles. A good friend of ours did the logo for us. And, like Doug said, it'll be a lot of just outdoor related stuff. So whether it's hunting, fishing, backcountry, hiking, we're gonna touch on a lot, as well as gear and equipment. So you're gonna get to see the first product spotlight today, later on in the episode. But yeah, so it'll kind of be a menagerie of anything that has to do with hunting or the outdoors.
Right. So then we're gonna do like a weekly spotlight, right? Mm-hmm. We'll do a product spotlight. We'll do some listener feedback. We want feedback from everybody and kind of get, some input in the show and what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about. So we'd love to hear from everybody.
And we will try our best, along with the listener feedback. So if there's a specific product you want to see something on. Obviously, we're going to try to touch on as much as we can. This will be a weekly episode, or weekly show. Excuse me. So as long as we can get our hands on it, we will definitely do it. There will be certain things that, just from my time in the industry, I know we won't be able to get our hands on, but we will try our best regardless. So we'll link all of our contact, our email, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. You'll have a way to reach us. So, and if you email us, it is Doug or myself that will be answering. We don't have a staff of people working in the background.
Yeah.
But I think the reason we did this was because of our diverse background. So Doug does not come from the industry. I come from the industry. So I think it's a little more of an unbiased opinion on certain things. Yeah. So there's things that we don't agree on. There's things that, we don't share the same feelings for product wise. So it'll be something that's more relatable to the everyday person rather than just a bunch of people coming from the industry and talking the way they want to talk.
Yeah. I'm not a salesman. So you'll get my honest opinion. So,
very good.
Yeah.
And so we're in a studio that Doug graciously is kind of, we made it into the studio. It was kind of his home away from home to be by himself and deal with bow stuff and hunting stuff. But we've turned it into a studio. But what is nice is he had it set up completely. We have a chronograph in here, a 4x4 target backer, bow press, workstation. So you won't always see us sitting here at this podium. We'll be moving around. We're going to film shots. I don't know if we'll get in depth as far as, kind of like a MFJJ doing, all these measurements. But we'll give you the basics for sure.
Sure. Yeah, give us, our opinion. And between the two of us, we shoot probably 4 different brand bows, right? So, we can give you our opinions on a multitude of different types of bows and different arrows. Yep. I shoot different arrows than you do. And so, yeah, it'll be unbiased. And, we're kind of open to, like I said, any suggestions that you have. You want to hear about a certain arrow or a certain release or a certain bow or, whatever, we'll do our best to get a hold of one and give you our honest opinion.
Yeah. And big thing too is obviously we touched a little bit on the habitat and land management. So we will film certain things as we're out that you won't see here. Cause obviously when we're trying to plant seed, we can't show you that from inside of a studio, so we will film while we're out doing some stuff with some of our clients. Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to, like I said, try to do just about everything we can as far as outdoor related product, outdoor related situations, recent news, that type of thing. So more of the word I'm looking for, like blue collarish podcast from the hunting industry.
Yes.
So not all this crazy stuff. Obviously, we will have some sponsors and whatnot as we grow, so you will hear those things, but it's not what we're relying on. This is more of a fun thing for us to do.
Yes, we're not doing this to make a living, that's for sure.
No.
That is absolutely for sure.
Nope, not at all.
So,
but we're going to jump in here to our next segment. We'll see you guys here in about a minute. Hey guys, welcome back. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to go jump right into some upcoming events and talk a little bit about what you should be looking to do as the days get longer and warmer. So I'll let you jump it off there, Doug.
Yeah, so the event that's coming up soonest is going to be our elk shed hunt out in Benezet. And that's March 9th through the 11th. It's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we've got it set up where we can get out there and we have a stay in a cabin overnight, get out there and look for those glorious elk drops.
Yep, and it's about time. There's been a lot of video, popping up on Facebook, Instagram, but we have 4 spots left available for that trip. So if you're interested, you can reach out to us. We just need the deposit. It's $150 per person, and that includes 2 nights stay. Good friends of ours own a bunch of rentals, and they have a whole house that we can stay in. So we'll have the whole house to ourselves. We'll stay Saturday, shed hunt all day Sunday, stay Sunday night, and we'll leave out Monday morning, maybe get a little more shed hunting in Monday morning. But it will be all on public land. So now would be the time, as those elk are dropping. We know the locals watch those bulls like hawks. So if they see an antler missing off one of their heads, there's the chance of anyone else finding it is slim to none.
Right. Yeah.
And the 2 weeks after that, right? 2 weeks? Yeah.
Yes, the 24th.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a local deer shed hunt. So I know Doug's deer currently don't have any antlers on. All of the deer on my property, except for one spike, who I got a picture of this morning, lost one side. But all of our deer have their antlers on still, so there's no sense in me walking for shed hunts yet. But we're going to do another one here, also on public land. So it's a good opportunity, maybe just scope out new property that, that's public land that you can go hunt during the fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it's, if we don't find anything first thing in the morning, there's a couple backup public land pieces that we can go to. And that's $10 a person. You just got to give us a call and get your name on the list. And if you do have a shed dog, you can bring the dog with you.
Yeah.
And
that's local here in Northeast PA.
Mm-hmm, correct. Yeah.
So, yep. And then
there's the big one.
The big one?
The big one. I think it's a big one. It's a lot of work. So I'll let you start off what we're going to talk about on the big event.
So the big event is our annual shoot, our archery and outdoor fest at Montage Mountain. This is our second year. Last year was the inaugural event, and it was a big hit. Probably went off better than we had hoped. Mm-hmm. Had a ton of shooters. So this year is going to be bigger and better. We kind of got our footing. We kind of have a better idea of what's going on, and we know the mountain. And we're looking forward to a great event this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And like Doug said, our first year, we knew going in it was a lot of work, but we knew that we would have our, trip and fall as well. And we did. We had a couple guys that got lost or complained about things. So we made sure that this year, pretty much if you were in outer space, you can follow the course. We actually got together this year with Spartan Forge. For those of you that aren't familiar with Spartan Forge, they are a mapping software. So when we go to set up our targets, we will actually be mapping it through their Blue Force tracker.
Yeah.
And then all of the shooters attending can go on to get a 14-day free trial of the app and follow literally pin by pin to target to target. Yeah. So you can't get lost basically. And we will have our flagging and arrows and everything else out there as well for those of you that don't want to use the mapping software.
Right. So the other big thing this year that we kind of upgraded from last year, I think, is going to be, two things. One is our vendor village is going to be open to the public, easily accessible for people that aren't shooting. There's a ton of great vendors that are going to be there, national companies and all the big name manufacturers. They're going to be there, so you can kind of go from booth to booth and browse around and buy some stuff and just touch it, feel it, get a good look at everything. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely a nice upgrade from last year. And then another thing that I'm pretty excited about is the camping.
Yes.
Right, the camping option, which we didn't have last year, but now for guys that want to come in and they want to shoot multiple days. Or if they're traveling from a distance, 3, 4, 5 hours away, they want to come, they want to bring their truck, they want to bring a tent, they want to bring their RV. You can set up and, set up camp and spend the weekend and, not only have a lot of fun on the mountain shooting, but after hours, it's a lot of fun getting together with your buddies and spending the weekend.
Absolutely. So the camping, you'll be able to do both RV camping or tent camping. And we'll have more information on the tent camping here in the next few weeks. But if you're in an RV, there is no hookups, but you are more than welcome to camp up in the upper parking lot at the resort, and be there all weekend. There's just no water or electric hookups, so you would need a generator.
Yeah.
And then last year we tried giving away a truck. Almost,
yeah.
This year we will have another 2024 GMC to try to give away. Shots will be a little different this year. Course-wise, we are combining the beginner and intermediate. So it'll be the same set of targets. We're just giving you 2 different pins.
Right.
So if you're a beginner, you're just going to walk up a little further than where the intermediate pin is and make your shot. And then we'll have, again, the advanced course and the expert course. And we solidified our meeting yesterday with Big Shot and Delta McKenzie. So that's the targets you will be shooting is Big Shot or Delta McKenzie, as they are now owned by Big Shot. And coming right out of Pennsylvania. So it's real nice. We can go down and pick up the targets. They come up with more that you can purchase as well, besides the targets that will be on course that are for sale. So it's nice to be able to work with not only a Pennsylvania-based company. I've known the Pirelli family for ages, and it was a huge news in the archery world when they purchased Delta McKenzie back in November. So we're super excited for them and super excited to be partnered with them.
Absolutely, yeah. One more thing too is we mentioned the camping. Mm-hmm. There is the option for hotels.
Yes.
So you can come up. There's local hotels right there on the mountain. So you can just book your hotel. Book early because they fill up pretty quick.
Yes.
But there is the hotel option as well.
Yeah, I believe there's 4 hotels right at the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple obviously closer. 2 there, just not quite, just a 5-minute drive, up or down the mountain to the resort.
Right.
We have this year, vendor-wise, we probably have, as we sit right now, close to 40 more vendors than we had last year.
Yeah.
We picked up a few more, and as the weeks go on, we'll announce who our vendors are, but you can check it out on Facebook as well in the Archery Fest at Montage Mountain Shooters Group page, if you're a Facebook fan.
And I'm not sure if did we tell them the dates?
We did not tell them the dates.
That would help. So the dates are May 17th through the 19th. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So a little earlier than last year.
Yep.
Last year we did it in June.
Mm-hmm.
So May's actually kind of a nice time. It's cooler. We had a couple hot days last year. Not terrible, but
I think that last day was the hottest that we had, and it was a bit brutal.
It was, but May's the weather should be perfect.
Yeah,
nice and cool in the morning, and warm up pretty nice during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and hopefully we won't have alive visitors paying visits to the course.
Only one.
Well,
no, actually it was 3. It was Mama and 2 cubs. So, that was a little unnerving for some guys, I guess. But,
and they didn't like some of the targets either.
No. What was that, the antelope?
The antelope got destroyed. We still don't know where the head went.
Nope, never found the head. But Mama didn't like it, and she wouldn't tolerate it. So
she showed it who was boss. That was for sure.
Yes.
But also one of the reasons we moved it up, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because we want you guys to come and check this out, but we're going to have a shot on the expert course, so that you're aware it is the expert course, that as far as we know and as far as I've researched, no other shoot has done this. So this will be kind of like our one-off, make us a little different shot. And as long as everything works, we're going to, obviously Friday is the first day of the shoot. So we have, our first day shooters. We're going to run it, see how it works. As long as everything is going good, you will see it Saturday and Sunday. If for some reason it's a complete bomb and it's, any type of safety issue or anything, we are going to obviously change the shot. So if you want to see what this is, to make sure you see it, I would definitely sign up for Friday.
Yes.
And then if it's great, then everybody will get to see it. But obviously safety is our number one concern. Doug and I, along with our entire volunteer crew, is at the mountain, 2 weeks prior to the shoot, making sure that we have clear lanes. We have no issues with, transversing in front of a shot or behind a shot. That is our definitely number one concern is safety. So
yes. And the one thing I do want to mention about that shot, you did mention that it's on the expert course. Mm-hmm. So now the expert course doesn't mean just expert shots, long distance, tough shots, which they are. They're very difficult shots, but it's also on a section of the mountain that is kind of challenging.
Yes.
So it's on the on the Black Diamond.
Yes. Single and Black Diamond trails.
Yeah,
when a lot of people hear expert, some of the other shoots that are out there, they kind of name courses. They don't tell you how difficult it is. The reason this is an expert course is this is, hunting related shots. Sure, there's some far shots. We give you distance. But most of it is that technical, squeezing arrows into places. Yeah. But the terrain is also expert. So this isn't, hunting antelope in a flat meadow. Right. You're on the side of a mountain. So be expected to be up and down steeps, some rocks.
Yes.
So there wasn't too many guys that complained, but obviously that last day when it was really hot, that one section that we had that was after the lift ride.
Yeah, the last 5.
So we get it. It was a little tough. We didn't like doing it either. Trust me. No. But this year, so for anybody that came to the shoot last year, all of the courses will be different. You will not see the same shots. Right. We guarantee that. Right.
But that's kind of what makes this so unique, right? Is the fact that if you're shooting an elk target, it's not supposed to be flat ground, like you're hunting in Pennsylvania. It's supposed to be like you're out west in Colorado, where it's on the side of a slope, or mountain goat. You shoot the mountain goat target. It's supposed to be steep and rocky, and that's where the mountain goats are. So we try to make it as realistic as possible, and make it as true to form as possible.
Yeah, and it's a kind of like a cognitive bunch of brains trying to set these shots up. So, Doug and I are kind of the ones that are in charge of it, but we have a crazy good volunteer crew that comes out.
Yes, awesome guys.
That, there's guys that hump targets up the side of a ski slope that was almost beyond vertical. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we thank those guys because it definitely helps when we can see it, when we can stand at a pin and they're putting a target up. Okay, no, move it, this way or move it that way. Yeah. But we will give you, the full deal on the expert course, and the advanced course is maybe not so much terrain, but the advanced course is definitely more of a shot. Deal. Yeah.
It's not as physically demanding, but the shots are probably just almost as technical. I would say
not quite as long, but definitely technical.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to be a big shoot. We have a lot of people that have already signed up for the tickets, and we will put the link in our description here about where you can get your tickets. And then also, like I said, if you just go on to Google and type in Montage Mountain Ski Resorts, hotels nearby. If you need a hotel, there are the 4 at the bottom of the mountain, but that'll be kind of like a long description if I put all this stuff in there. So, but other than that, we're gonna pause here for a minute, and we're gonna jump into our first product spotlight for episode 1, and we'll tell you all about it here in a minute. All right, guys, we are back, and we're gonna jump into some little bit of this time of the year stuff, and then we'll go into our product spotlight. So you heard us in the beginning of the episode talk about land management and habitat management, and that's something Doug and I are both very, very big on, aside from helping other folks with it. But, this time of the year, days are getting longer. It's warming up a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, but it wasn't so warm this morning.
A little bit.
But this time of the year, just about, unless you're somewhere in the South or the Midwest where it may be a little bit warmer, now is the time you want to start planning out all of your food plots or tree stand placements. And go ahead, give me what do you got on it?
Yeah, this is to me this is my favorite time of year to scout. Once the snow is gone and you can really see trails. There's no foliage, there's no leaves. You can see everything. So this is like my favorite time of year to get out there and scout for next year. And to me, right now, stand placement.
Yeah.
I think this is a great time to place your stands for next year. Just because, like I said, there's no leaves, and you can see, the woods is going to look the same today as it will in November. So, right. When you try to set up a stand in August when everything is green, it's just tough. So sure. This is the best time of year to get out and do that, and just do your maintenance, right? Do your cleanups and all those trees that came down over the winter. Mm-hmm. Clean up your trails and get your access ready. And frost seeding, right? This time of year this is actually right now is a pretty good time to frost seed because, you said we're getting warmer. We do have some cold mornings, which is what you want when you frost seed, right? So get that seed out now. And if it snows on top of that, that's even better. Right. If you wait too long and you miss that last frost or you miss the last snow, it's not as beneficial. So this is the time of year to get out there and do your frost seeding and start doing your prep work.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and we talked to a few of our landowners that we work with about frost seeding. So some people don't realize the benefits of it. So it's basically just putting that extra little bit of seed in the ground that you may end up seeding again in a month or two. But it gives the deer something now as it starts to grow, whether, it was a bad mast year or a bad fruit year, or you're in a heavily wooded area and there's not a lot of forage besides leaves and twigs and things of that nature. So you're giving your deer something that they can feed on to start boosting them for antler growth, does for fawning season. And then you're going to go back in and probably seed right back over it with something getting ready for summer.
Yeah.
And then, then we're going into fall again. So now we're putting in a different type of seed for fall, winter. But one of the big things, like Doug said, this is a perfect scouting season. You can see everything. The deer may or may not have their antlers on. We've already talked about that a little bit where, the property that I have and where the property that Doug has, the way the crow flies is probably less than 3 miles.
Yes.
His deer haven't had his antlers since
weeks. It's been weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I'm getting pictures every day of deer with full racks and, with the exception of this morning, one of our little spikes, I noticed that he dropped the smallest side. So I'm never going to find it, but now I know, okay, maybe here soon they'll start dropping. And it's weird. It was a big mast year in certain areas. I know we had a huge mast on our property.
Yeah, we did here too.
So now you can kind of get a better idea of, where these deer are traveling. And some people do and some people don't leave their trail cameras up all year. So we leave ours up all year round. And we have most of our land clients that do. Just so that now you're getting a better inventory of, okay, those bucks made it through, or this doe is definitely pregnant and getting ready for fawning season. The yearlings, there must have been enough food somewhere, or what you were doing was giving them enough food because the yearlings aren't super skinny. Yep. And obviously it definitely helps if there's not a lot of snow, which we didn't have this year.
No.
But, definitely the time for that plan of, okay, what are we going to do this year that we didn't do last year, or do differently than we did last year, so that way your hunting season is more productive than it maybe was this year.
Right. And, the other thing I want to touch on too, and not everyone agrees with this theory, but I'm a big proponent of predator control, especially this time of year.
Yep.
Because all of the deer are at their most vulnerable right now. They're all weak. There's not a ton of food out there, so this is when the predators can really do some damage to your deer herd. So for the guys that do predator hunt, get out there and shoot them coyotes and try to take control of them, because this is the time of year when the coyotes can really do some serious damage to them.
Absolutely. And people used to, I was huge into predator hunting for a long, long time, and I still do it, and just not to the extent that I used to. But this time of the year, people used to give us crap because there's, pups being born and yada, yada, yada. But it doesn't matter whether they're, 2 months old or 2 years old, they will kill deer.
Yes, absolutely.
So now is definitely the time. We actually I saw a fox come through last night. We have chickens. It wasn't a deer situation, but he was out looking at night for something to eat, and coyotes. I know there's certain areas around here that used to have a lot of coyotes, and I think people have been doing some decent work with keeping the population down.
Yeah.
Because we don't see them as much as we used to on trail cameras, but it is what it is. It's definitely something that needs to be done. If you're not a trapper, or maybe you don't want to predator hunt and you have property, I would ask around at the local hunting club or the sportsman's club and find out who likes to trap or predator hunt. And, hey, you can't hunt anything else, but you can come out and shoot coyotes for me.
It does make a big difference.
100%.
Because that doe that they kill now. That's killing 3 deer.
Yep.
Because now she's not going to give birth to her 2 fawns in the spring. So that one coyote just wiped out 3 deer.
Right.
So it is important. I definitely encourage everyone to try and do their best to control the predators.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And scouting, the easiest way to scout kind of leads us into our next little segment here is shed hunting. So shed hunting. I love to shed hunt. My wife loves to shed hunt. The kids will come out with us every once in a while. It's just fun. It gets you out there. You're following their trails, looking for their beds. Hopefully they fell off while they were sleeping, which it makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
But it just gets you out there and gives you the ability to see different things that you don't see during fall when you're out hunting.
Yes.
So that's why we're doing the 2 shed hunts that we told you about earlier, and we'll probably do more as I kind of e-scout some of this public land. Not that I hunt it very much, but it gives me the ability to walk around and see how deer are reacting in different areas.
Yeah.
And so with shed hunting, obviously springtime also comes Merle mushroom hunting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, I'm allergic to mushrooms. I can go out and pick them. I just can't eat them. Can you eat mushrooms?
I can. I just don't.
Okay. That seems to
don't
be
eat them. No.
That seems to be the standard consensus is unless you're crazy in love with eating mushrooms, either you don't or you're allergic. So, but the reason I bring morel mushrooms up is with shed hunting. Number one, you can find sheds if you're just a morel mushroom hunter. But the product spotlight today, and I'm sure you have seen them sitting here. This company is based out of Western Pennsylvania, and the company is called the Fungeys, Fungeys. And sometimes people ask me, like, what does that have to do with shed hunting? Well, the cool part, if you've ever seen a morel mushroom and an antler sitting next to each other, their colors are very similar.
Right.
So these glasses have specialty lens that were developed by the owner, and it allows you to see morel mushrooms brighter than the rest of what is on the woods floor.
Right. Its surrounding environment.
Right.
Yeah.
So they make a couple different versions of this, but this is the bamboo earpieces that you can see there. And the lenses are blue. So when they're on, I don't know if this will work with my headphones on, but so like the entire room just changed in for my eyes, obviously. So it darkens a lot of the wall and the desk, but everything that's white is much brighter. So I'm gonna flip them over to Doug because I don't think Doug has had those on yet.
I have not. No.
So same thing like a morel mushroom. It makes an antler stand out a little bit better than not having them on.
Yes, no doubt.
So
just looking at the
antlers here,
hanging on the wall,
Yep.
I mean, you can see the difference as soon as you get that blue lens on them. They kind of pop.
Yep.
So
unless you have a dog that is super unbelievable at finding sheds, which my dog is not super good, she'll find them. But having these now gives the benefit to me as I'm walking through the woods, to be able to spot them maybe from a little bit further distance where I might not have seen them before. and it's a much different look than having polarized glasses on, regular polarized glasses, because that's usually what I wear when I'm outside. But shed hunting wise, it also gives you that satisfactory feeling that if you shoot a deer next season and you found his sheds from this season or the season before, to kind of have that story to go with it. And that's why I think I like shed hunting so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never been lucky enough, honestly, to be able to match up a shed that I found to a deer that I killed the following year, but a lot of guys do.
Yep.
I just haven't been lucky enough. But
and I think it definitely happens a lot more out in the Midwest and out west for elk and mule deer.
No doubt.
Especially on private lands. No.
With ag.
Yeah.
Ag is the key. Yeah.
And I think if I would have harvested the deer that I shot at this year, which we'll get into another episode, I do believe I have his right side from last season that I actually found during this season. So it'll be cool that if I can get a shot at him, or if he grows the same, which he normally, most deer do. That's why they're sheds and they come back looking very similar, unless they're downgrading or some serious
an injury or something like that.
Something serious going on. But yeah, so I'm hoping that I get another shot at him for this fall, and maybe I can piece it all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's so if you get a chance, it's Fungeys, Fungeys, and again, they are out of Western Pennsylvania. Retail on these is $89.95. They come with different earpieces, so you can pick out what color. I just like the bamboo because it kind of stands out. So if you drop them, they're a little bit easier to see, and they come in a nice cork case.
Yeah, cool.
With a lens cleaner and a glass bag and all that stuff. So check them out. I believe it's www.fungeys.com, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Nice.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with our last segment, recent news and what I got to do over the weekend. So we'll be back in a minute. Go.
Hey, welcome back, guys. I guess next up we're going to talk about some recent news, things that are happening in the outdoor world. I know that this past few days you were down at the Kinsey show, the dealer show. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for those of you that may have heard the name Kinsey's before, Kinsey's does have a store in itself in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. But Kinsey's was actually just turned 75 years, I believe. Has been around. It's a family-run business, and it is the probably the biggest distributor of archery products. So every year they do this big show for all of their dealers. Prior to owning the shop, I used to have to work the show because I was a sales rep. And for the last few years, we've got to enjoy the show as a dealer. And so that's where I got to spend the last few days down in the Rose City of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And did you know they have like an actual like city in Lancaster?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's not the Amish and the buggies and the horses and it's nothing like that.
No, and that's so many people were like, I didn't know there was a city here.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. So this was their first year at the new venue, which was the convention center at the Marriott, and it really made a big difference because it got to where they used to hold the show. The rooms were kind of separated, so you'd had to like walk from convention hall to convention hall to see all the different product. And then they have like a closeout room and a hot show room. So this year everything was in one space except for the hot show. The hot show is done separately because they need a big TV screen and whatnot. Yeah. And they always have a really good live concert with the show for the dealers. So and this isn't like local band type stuff. So over the years, I've seen Travis Tritt, Montgomery Gentry, Blake Shelton. This year, the show was actually Friday night. It was Low Cash. So if you've never heard of Low Cash, I would highly suggest looking them up. But so that was the fun parts of the show. And then obviously we were there as a dealer, so we were there for work. And we did not go to ATA this year. So Doug went to ATA with us last year, him and his wife Colleen, and I can't say I'm bummed about missing it this year. I've heard horror stories. So Kinsey's was the ticket for me because I didn't get to do my normal business at ATA. And you get to see all the new stuff that was at ATA because it's already been released and talked about, so it's already there. This is usually the last distributor show of the season for outdoor industry businesses, whether you're a rep or you're a dealer. These trade shows are where we do our business, not like a regular consumer show like Harrisburg.
Right.
So it was good. We got to see, they've brought in a lot of new product, and then obviously the staple stuff that's always been there. One of the biggest takeaways, I think, was there was a lot, I guess, but so they do have this big closeout section, and it's stuff that it's either didn't make the turns that they were hoping it was going to make, so they discount it heavily, which is really cool. But one of the biggest things I think for me is you can actually see the logo right here on the back of our computer, is Elevation. So Elevation is a huge staple for us in the shop, whether it's bow cases or quivers. But recently, I'd say within the probably past 2 years, they came out with the Elevation Hunt line. And one of the products we will probably end up product spotlighting here on the show is their new mobile hunter pack. So Doug has not even seen this yet.
Nope.
It basically works whether you're a saddle hunter, you're using a super lightweight, lock on. You can mount your platform or that stand into this pack along with your sticks, and it still has all of your pockets and everything you need to be a mobile hunter.
Okay.
So that was probably my biggest one as far as product that was like, yep, definitely got to bring that in. And we made some changes this year. We started ordering a little bit of ammunition. So we've been predominantly archery only for 2 years. And we brought in some ammunition and some inline muzzleloaders that will be in the shop here come soon.
Good.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. I got my guitar picks.
That's your thing every year.
Every year. Yeah. So to give you a little backstory here, with these concerts, whether I was there as a rep or now as a dealer, over probably the last 8 years, I've gotten a pick from every musician. And that is now like my trophy goal. Like I have to get a pick. I can't leave the show not having a pick.
Yeah.
This year was actually a little funnier because of the venue change. The seating arrangements and concert venue area was different. So we always had dinner in the same room and then went right to the concert. And this year dinner was upstairs, and then they moved us downstairs to the concert. And the first pick, and I don't know how I didn't see it, but it came whizzing by my head, and I didn't know he even threw one.
Yeah.
And my wife, Maria, grabbed it and wouldn't give it to me. So I was like, oh, man. All right. About 10 minutes later, one of the Kinsey staff, who I've known for ages, was a very good friend of ours, and she had saw one bounce off somebody and end up on the floor, and she had someone hand deliver it to me.
Wow. Okay.
And at the very end of the show, Al, who Doug met, Al is the photographer for Kinsey's. Mm-hmm. He actually was at our shoot last year and did all of a whole bunch of pictures for us.
Yeah.
But he was there working and brought me a pick at the very end of the show. So I ended up with 3, and turns out every guitar player, so both lead singers and their lead guitarist, all use a different pick.
Okay.
So it was cool. I got all 3 of them. And then, I don't know if I told you this or you saw this. I was a pretty popular guy at the Kinsey show.
I did see that. I saw it on Facebook.
So last year at the show, Al took a picture of me during the happy hour event. And somehow it was, like the worst case scenario. I have a beer in my hand, but I was looking, I had an Elevation hat on and our logo on our shirt, and he was behind the bar and took the picture of me. And I just thought it was funny that he took a picture of me, so I was like cheersing the camera. They had it on all of the triangle floor signs. They had it in the book 3 different times.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, casino night, somebody comes up and says, "Hey, you're pretty famous." And I was laughing, thinking it was like they saw me in the book or they saw on the sign. I turn around and it is on this gigantic, like 500-inch TV. And what made it even more funny was it was a picture of me, a picture of Low Cash, and then a gentleman by the name of Mike, who you will probably see on this podcast at some point in time in the very near future, who used to work for Kinsey's and now is the sales manager for Numa. So I have not sent him this picture yet, but I am going to this week to joke around with him. But so we were pretty famous guys for 3 days. And then, so other than that news, because that wasn't, super, super important. But if you're an archery follower, target archery, 3D archery, or just enjoy archery in general, this past weekend was the opening of 3D season. Everybody knows as ASA, which is the Archery Shooters Association. And Doug has some results.
Yes. So down in Alabama, Foley, Alabama, ASA kicked off. And so as far as the results, we've got in the Open Pro, men's Open Pro, Brady Myers won. Mm-hmm. I actually was watching that live, and he beat
Pennsylvania boy.
Yep. He beat another Pennsylvania boy. Mm-hmm. He beat Levi by a point. He's down by 11, and he called the upper 12 and just nailed it, and he won. So good for him.
Maybe it was those ultra arrows cost Levi the point.
Oh.
I had to.
You never know. Could be. Who else? Let's see. Kyle Douglas. Mm-hmm. He won the men's known pro.
Okay.
And then Tony. I think Tony won the senior pro.
Tony Taza.
Yep, Tony Taza.
So he's also another PA boy and also a shop owner. So everybody always joked with me because I like to shoot competition archery, and I said I just want to be up and grow up like Tony. So,
There you are. Maybe not quite yet, but
no. But he shoots a 2-finger release. I can't even come close to shooting a 2-finger release. So,
yeah. And then the last in the men's is Tim Gillingham. He won senior known pro.
The Hammer.
The Hammer. Yep.
Doug's like really close with Tim. He like messages him all the time and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's when he was with Bowtech.
Yeah.
Because I shoot Bowtech.
Uh-huh.
I shoot a few other ones, but I do shoot Bowtech, and he was always my go-to guy to kind of get some tips and
feedback. And what did you buy off him at ATA?
Last year I got a grip.
A grip, that's what it was. I knew we had to go meet him. He's like, hey, I got to go meet Tim. I'll be around in a little bit.
Yeah, he had a high-risk grip for me. And, so now he's shooting Matthews. I really have no reason
I think he's still making grips, though, for just about everything, because I see him on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, he is. He's still doing that, so. But, yeah, so Tim won the senior known pro. Mm-hmm. And then on the ladies' side, Kara Kelly, she won the women's pro. And Paige, as usual, seems like, Paige Pierce, she won the known pro.
On the known pro.
Yeah.
And I know we obviously missed indoor season, so it was nice to see Paige come away with a win. She had a couple rough weeks between Lancaster and the Vegas shoot. But yeah, it was, I didn't get to see much of it because obviously I was traveling back from the Kinsey show. So I'm sure I'll watch it on YouTube here as the week goes on.
Yeah.
But ASA is fun. I did see some of the practice rounds. I follow a lot, and I'm friends with some of the people that were down there. It seemed pretty warm down there. And I think Foley is really one of the only ones where they shoot the shoot down in the finals in a building.
Yes.
Everything as the season goes on is outside. So
yes.
I did see a couple pictures here and there, but Brady is a PA boy. I know he shoots for B3. What bow was he shooting? Do you remember?
I don't. It might have been Hoyt. Don't quote me on that.
Yep.
But it might.
I know he's a B3 guy, and the only reason I know he's a B3 guy is Benny Barger, who is also a B3 guy, and we do a lot with B3. They had a bunch of posts that I saw pop up on Facebook. So
yeah.
But there was a lot of PSE guys out there. A lot of Hoyt, a lot of Matthews.
Yep.
But I joked about the Levi thing with the Ultras. So I did. So for those of you that have ever been into our shop know that we only carry Easton in-house. And I did like a sacrilegious thing this weekend. They had a special on Ultras. And I wanted to see what they were all about. Why did Levi leave a gold tip for Ultra? So that will be part of our podcast here very soon. They're actually sending me a dozen to build and play with to see, was it the legit move?
Yeah, I'm curious myself.
Yep. So we're gonna see what happens. We'll get them, and they're sending a dozen. So Doug will probably get 6. I'll get 6, and we're gonna build them the way we build them because we don't shoot arrows the same at all.
No.
So we'll see what happens. But I did make that joke in front of the rep, and he didn't find it too funny.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I mean, listen, all joking aside, Levi he's a legit dude.
Uh-huh.
So if he made the switch,
right, there had to be a reason.
There had to be a reason. So
I know there was a big pay cut involved.
Yeah.
But if you've ever met Levi, there's a lot of people that are, celebrities, say. And Levi is probably one of the most down-to-earth guys you can ever meet. Always has his kids at different events. He was at Lancaster sitting in the booth with the kids, eating fries and just talking to everybody. Yeah. So he definitely, he's one of those approachable people that you can ask questions to, and he's not going to blow you off. So good for him. I mean, if the arrow is what it is and he made the move, then hey, by all means. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But
curious to find out.
But yeah, the rep still didn't like it. I tried to explain. No, listen, man, Levi's a cool dude. I get it. But yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Other than that, stay tuned next week.
Yeah.
Next whatever I was going to say. Next week, so that'll be March the 2nd, I believe. Am I right on that?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, because this is a leap year, so I know Friday is the 29th. So, 2nd. Yeah, 2nd. Got to be the 2nd.
Yep.
March 2nd. And as we go, we will throw in some live versions so that you guys can be on and watching and comment as we're going.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, before we get out of here, make sure you check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Our TikTok is not up yet, but it will be up very soon. You can email us, huntcastpodcast, all one word, at gmail.com. So if you have feedback, you want to see a product, want to hear us talk about something,
right.
Please email us, and that will, again, I said, will be Doug or myself answering those emails, not some weird person in the background.
Yep.
How else can they get in touch with us? YouTube. You can leave comments on the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And like I said, we will have links to pretty much just about everybody we talked about here in the show today, in the description below. Make sure you subscribe and click the little bell for notifications, so every time we upload a video or go live, you'll get the details.
Yes.
Other than that, I think we're done.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see you next time.
See you next week, guys.
All right.
Thanks.